lot of people ask me why I don't like working with older people when it comes to using modern day technology, and the answer is simply they don't know what the hell they're doing. They just sit at the keyboard, clacking away, hoping that everything works.
Oh, dearest me, a vital video. I don't want to get sick now. Let's see, my grandson wanted a football from Dick's. Here we go.
I can prove that older people don't know how to use modern day technology. Everyone gets all up in a fit when I say it, but I have actual evidence. I'm gonna show you right now. Hello, mama, mother, mom, mare, pear.
Hey, how are ya?
Not too bad. What are you doing with that fancy machine right there?
My Surface Pro?
You remembered the name of it. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
You need any help doing something, or?
No, I'm good. I've got several tabs open. I just finished a Google Meet with my 5th graders. I created a 3rd grade Google Classroom, and I'm now working on making a word sort so my kids can continue working on their phonics. I'm actually making a game.
So Chris helped you with that, then?
No, I did it myself.
Hey, what's up, Daddy-O?
What did I tell you about calling me?
Anyways, I noticed that you're using a really, really complicated looking machine, and I just wanted to make sure you didn't need help with anything, using the web browser.
Oh, actually, no, I'm good. I just secure shelled into my media server, and I'm working on generating some new keys.
I meant people older than 60. 55 lower, 56 lower doesn't count. People that are older than 60, they cannot help themselves at all when it comes to modern tech. They can't do video calls, they can't do audio calls, they think internet... Grandma? Yeah. Who helped you set up the video call?
Help me? It's not that hard.
And now for the interview portion. This is my mom. She is a reading teacher at an elementary school in Baldwinsville. Reynolds, right?
Yep.
And how long have you been teaching at Reynolds for?
20 years.
For that whole time, you've actually gone into the building. You've been able to be hands-on with the students and such. So how was the change up with the new pandemic and having to do the online learning?
In all honesty, it was very frustrating at first. I'm used to having kids come into the reading room for 30 minutes at a time, and I've got books to put in their hands, manipulatives that they can work with, and so switching over as of March 17th to distance learning, I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. Nobody did. I think that when the classroom teachers were setting up their Google Classrooms, it works for the classroom teacher because they have all the content areas, but for me it was, what do I need to do for my students, knowing that, you know, kindergarten through 5th grade, they're still working on phonics and learning fluency. So it wasn't even really where I could put a book in their, you know, hands or an online story.
Right.
They're still doing a lot of word work. And so the first thing was I had a very hard time finding my purpose working online. I couldn't figure out where I fit in. I did start helping some kids one-to-one, kind of tutoring them with stories and how to answer questions, you know, discussions, but I kept coming back to, I need them working on the phonics piece. They still need to learn spelling patterns so that they can gain their fluency. And so I've just recently learned through a lot of YouTube videos how to create sorts, and I have fluency stories for the kids, and so I'm starting to feel, it's been a month, I'm just starting to feel like I'm getting the swing of it. It's a very slow process, I think, especially being the age that I am, 53. It doesn't come easily.
Right.
What I do once doesn't seem to work the second time I do it, even though it feels like I'm doing the exact same thing.
But at the same time, you have no choice but to learn how to do this after being set for so many years, being used to the same process.
Absolutely. I mean, if I'm going to be helpful in any way for my students, I kind of had to learn that I need to just figure it out, been a lot of talking to myself, a lot of swearing at myself and at the
Can
computer.
confirm.
I'm getting it, and you know, hopefully it's not anything that we need to use again down the road, but I think if it ever happened again, I think people will be much more prepared. I think that the kids have been a lot more patient with the whole process, but I think it's because they've grown up with the technology, whereas, you know, starting out back in the early 80s, my biggest thing was a game called Blip, which was so slow and ridiculous to look at it now, but it's just, you know, it is what it is.
Well, thank you very much for coming in, even though you live here. This is our house.
Didn't have far to go.
And thank you for helping with the other previous video part.
You are so welcome. That's us in a nutshell. All right, we gotta get it right. There we go.
Hey, take two, and we are out.